The Barbados Labour Party moves to Christchurch West Central at the Briar Hall playing field near the Graham Hall roundabout.
Good night, good night, good night. We are red and we are ready. We are red and we are. We are red and we are. I don't even know if I have to say very much. I so enjoyed listening to my friend John King that I almost feel that I don't belong on this platform with him. John, let me thank you. And I know that the same success that you wish our comrade Charles is sure to come your way. When I say that we are red and we are ready, it is not just about being ready for an election. The Barbados Labour Party is ready to run this country in the way that it needs to be run. You know, everybody wants to be in charge. I remember in 2008, David Thompson wanted very much to be Prime Minister of this country. And his cabinet colleagues felt that running a government was easy. And one of them said, remember who? That we could have a fishing agreement over a bowl of soup. But everything looks easy until you stand in the position of responsibility. And the Democratic Labour Party has let every single citizen and resident of this country down so badly that it is a disgrace. But we are in St. John tonight, in my view, not to talk about Errol Barrow, not to talk about David Thompson, not to talk about his widow, Mara Thompson. We are here in St. John to talk about the future. Because every single one of those individuals represent what is past about this constituency. You know, somebody told me as I was arriving tonight that I don't have to say what the Dems did not do in St. John. Because every single person in St. John can see for themselves that not a single thing has been done. So we don't have to talk about that. And therefore we don't have to talk about the past history of neglect, because the St. John people have felt it and have lived it every single day for many years. What I want to tell the people of St. John is your time has come. The time has come for St. John to look to the future. So that is what we are about tonight, looking to the future. And the future that I speak about is a future that sees a brilliant young man named Charles Griffith representing this constituency in the House of Assembly. I have never met a finer human being, a person with more generosity of spirit. I have never met a more soft-spoken man but a strong man. I have never met an individual who wakes up with so much enthusiasm for the people of St. John as with Charles Griffith. He is one of you. Charles was born in Edgecliff. He has lived in this constituency, and he has seen his life's work as the mission of reforming the lives of the young men and women in this constituency. All across Barbados, you will find examples of individuals who reach a certain position, and the first thing they do is clear out. Very easy to clear out. They shake the dust off their feet, and they head to Christchurch or St. Michael or someplace else. Not Charles. Charles' life work has remained the young men and women of St. John. So much so, that when David Thompson came to office, he realized that there was a powerhouse of a young man in St. John named Charles Griffith. And he realized that Charles was an exemplar of what true representation should be, and he had him moved. He had him transferred. But that did not daunt this young man. He spent, if you want buses, Chief, all right, I can get the buses just now. Charles continued his commitment to the people of this constituency and has taken it upon himself to devote the rest of his life to your representation. I cannot think of a finer human being than Charles Griffith, who deserves the vote of the members of this constituency. It is disgraceful that with an election only weeks away, that the people of St. John do not know and cannot say who is going to be representing them from the side of the Democratic Labour Party. It is disgraceful. Now that tells you one of two things. It tells you that they do not care enough about this constituency, or it should tell you that they take this constituency for granted. You see, they so believe that the people of St. John will always vote Democratic Labour Party, that it doesn't matter, that they can declare a candidate days before, that the people of St. John don't need to have a say in who runs, that once more a successor is going to be anointed. The people of St. John deserve better than that. The people of St. John deserve to know all like now who it is that the Dems are going to be sending, because you have to make an informed choice. But this failing, this disgraceful failing of the Dems and of Frondell Stewart is symptomatic of everything that they do in Barbados and everything that they have done in Barbados for the last 10 years. I represent the adjoining constituency of St. Joseph. In fact, some of you might know that part of the parish of St. Joseph forms part of my constituency. The constituencies not only share a common boundary, but people in St. John walk through St. Joseph to catch a bus when we used to have a bus. People in St. Joseph have wives and girlfriends and children in St. John. These two areas are bound not just by geography, but by blood and kindredness. So I know what the people of St. John have to experience. In fact, it should be to the embarrassment of the Democratic Labour Party that people who live on this side of St. John, when they see me, they say, Mr. Marshall, can you do something about the roads? I said, but you know, in my constituency, he said, never mind, I want you to do something about the roads. Now, that should tell you something. Some people believe that politics is about high sense and gimmicks and strategies and those kinds of things. But I have found that politics, and I know that my friend Cynthia agrees with me, politics is about doing the things that make people's lives better. We get elected to Parliament, but politics is not about being in Parliament. Being in Parliament is where you go to debate. But you do that for a few hours, one day a week, and in fact, under the Democratic Labour Party, sometimes months would pass, and we don't go to Parliament. Politics is not about Parliament. Politics is about representing the day-to-day needs of the people who elect you. Plain and simple. It is about making poor people's lives better. It is about stopping poor people from being poor. It is about the simple things that you and I need in order to live a fruitful life. It is about roads. It is about being able to go into the bus stand and catch a bus. Now, you know, I always say that sometimes we don't connect the dots. There are some people who believe that the issue of poor bus service is just a question of how long you have to wait in the bus stand. That is a part of it. But you know what? It will hurt anybody's heart to see an elderly individual standing up at a bus stop in St. John for over 2 hours. Sometimes those individuals have high blood pressure. Sometimes they have diabetes, all kinds of ailments. Sometimes they are just plain old tired, but they must wait for hours to get where they have to go. And getting back, it's not just about what time you get a bus to get home. It is about the fact that until you reach home at 8 o'clock at night, you cannot even begin to be a proper parent for your child. What mother or father who goes into a bus stand at 4:30, 5 o'clock and waits 3 hours for a bus can think about reaching home and sitting down to do homework with a child about to do common entrance? Who can do it? They have to start by fixing a meal. 5 hours now. That is what Barbados has come to. The Transport Board has 274 buses. But I believe that today we probably only had 50 on the road. 274 buses, but only about 50 on the road. Barbadians, you know, there was a time when Barbadians could say, man, I can get from here to there. The bus service in Barbados was the marvel of the Caribbean. People used to be amazed at our communications network, at how we used to get around. But we have now reached the point where of 274 buses, less than 25% of them are working on any given day. So the point I'm making is it's not just about how long you have to wait for a bus on an evening. It is also about how you can relate to your family life. That is 4 hours or more in a day that you have lost. 2 to get to work, 2 or 3 to get back home. And somebody will say that you are a public servant, but you're not productive. How can you be productive? These are the issues that I know the people of St. John have been facing. St. John, the time has come for you to look to your future, not the past. Look to your future, a future with Charles Griffith and the Barbados Labour Party. Do not fool yourself. This constituency suffers from slippage because part of St. John is in the Scotland district. The Democratic Labour Party has done absolutely nothing to deal with it. This constituency was also, and may still continue to be, significantly affected by the water shortage. Who in the Democratic Labour Party came to say, St. John, we are sorry? They didn't come to St. Joseph. The Prime Minister said, well, you know, the people of Barbados are still going to work and they're still going to school and the television still works and CBC still shows at night, so our life must be good. Our life must be good. But at no time did he feel it necessary to come to the people of this constituency and give them the assurance that they're going to work to make things better. We have a South Coast that is now featured in a disreputable way in the international media. I got a copy of an article today published by the London Telegraph, and it speaks to the decay of our country. But the Prime Minister is busy talking about making history. That is history too. That is history too. Can you imagine that a week after the people say that Barbados is the finest tourism destination in the world, they also say that we are the filthiest? The two things do not add up. We have a government that has long stopped caring about the day-to-day needs of Barbadians. And if you reach a stage where, as a government, you do not care, then you are at the point where you should no longer occupy the halls of power in our country, plain and simple. I well recollect members of the Democratic Labour Party speaking about Barbadians with contempt. With contempt. We are now back to the you can like it or lump it days. You remember those days? The Democratic Labour Party is holding Barbadians in contempt because they do not believe that you and I should know when our date at the polls is going to be. But for him, it's no issue. I understand that he's planning to go to a big conference in London in 2 weeks' time, and that the High Commission is planning on wining and dining him and feting him at your expense. And that is his priority. I well remember going into 2008, I think they had a big CARICOM meeting. And Owen Arthur said, I am not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. I have to face the electorate in a matter of months, and my priority therefore has to be, how can I defend my stewardship? So, Frandel Stewart, you have to face the electorate of Barbados within a couple of months. And I want you to begin to defend your stewardship. If you wonder why I'm silent, it's because I'm waiting to hear if you got anything to say. But we know how that Prime Minister works. He does not believe that the people of Barbados are deserving of receiving communications from him. You know, the disgraceful thing too is that when they came to power in 2008, they said we were going to have weekly press conferences after cabinet. You remember that, Cindy? Weekly press conferences after cabinet. They began hot and sweaty by keeping community meetings in every single parish in Barbados on a Sunday, and CBC had to show it from start to finish. But now, you hear nothing from the government except a barrage of insults and innuendo as far as the Barbados Labour Party is concerned. So a Prime Minister is not content to say to the people of this country, this is what I have done. Instead, he and his following want to say bad things about our leader. They want to say bad things about Liz Thompson. They want to say bad things about Cynthia Ford and George Payne and Dale Marshall, because as far as they are concerned, that is what this election is now about. This election for them is now a curse fest. But I'm not cursing anybody. We don't have to curse anybody. As far as we are concerned, this election is about whether the Democratic Labour Party has fulfilled the promise that they made to the people of this country last election and the one before. Now, somebody leaked our manifesto. But you know what? You know what? The difference between us and them is that we are committed to the things that we publish in our manifesto, well, for them, a manifesto is just a document that they put out as a matter of public relations. So they've leaked our manifesto, but that is all right. You don't hear the Barbados Labour Party running around frantic, oh Lord, our manifesto out there. No. Our manifesto is a document, even in its draft form, that is full of substance and promise. And I invite each of you to read it. It is all over social media. It's no secret now. It isn't complete. But I want to say to you that even at this stage, the Barbados Labour Party would welcome your views. You know why? Because we are a party that is serious about consultation, and we are a party that is serious about listening to the voice of the people who elect us. How can we serve the people if we do not listen to their voice? Plain and simple. You know, the Democratic Labour Party politicians like to talk. Dunvillin is talk. Chris Sinkler talk. Dennis Lowe talk. But not a single one of them spares a minute to listen. Plain and simple. Now, I want to tell you that that is a fundamental difference between the Barbados Labour Party and Democratic Labour Party, you know. We have always believed in the power of consulting with the people. Plain and simple. So when people tell you, man, the B's and the D's are the same thing, with due respect, that is a person who either does not understand or ain't wake up yet. Okay? Because as a political institution, the Barbados Labour Party stands for the highest ideals, while as far as the Democratic Labour Party is concerned, they are in a race to reach the bottom. The Barbados Labour Party believes in listening to the voice of the people, while as far as the Dems are concerned, the people must listen to their voice. The Barbados Labour Party believes in improving the lives of the people we are expected to serve, while the Democratic Labour Party believes otherwise. But the proof is in the pudding. 10 years ago is not too far back for any of you to remember that Barbados was the #1 developing country in the world. 10 years ago is not too far back for you and I to remember that we had succeeded so much. We had reached such a pinnacle that as far as our Caribbean brothers and sisters are concerned, Barbados was the place to live and work. I well remember that there was a spate of kidnappings in Trinidad, and the Trinidadians said, we can't take it no more, we are coming to Barbados. Barbados used to be a place of safety and sanctuary. Not so more, not so anymore. How many firearm shootings have we had for the year? How many did we have last year? The lives of our young men are being destroyed through guns, through violence. The principal of Dodds in July of last year said that 4 of the young men who had been killed in the last 6 weeks had passed through his hands at Dodds. I believe John King will be able to confirm that. 4 of the young men shot and killed in the previous 6 weeks had passed through Dodds. But do you think that you have an attorney general who will be listening to that voice? I'm not saying he's an idiot. I am saying that everything shows us that he does not care about what happens in his constituency or St. John or St. Joseph or in any one of them. Now I'm speaking to you from a platform in St. John. But I could have been speaking to you in St. Lucie. I could have been speaking to you in St. Michael. Because not a place in Barbados has been spared the heavy whip and the heavy hand of destruction from the Dems. So it isn't that St. John alone is bad. No, I have to tell you that it is a serious disappointment that St. John is in the state it is in. Because, I mean, John mentioned Owen Arthur. He's not with us anymore. But the point is this. Owen Arthur felt that his first duty after taking care of Barbados was taking care of St. Peter. And I feel that my first duty after taking care of Barbados is taking care of St. Joseph. And Cynthia Ford feels that her first duty after taking care of Barbados is taking care of St. Thomas. And that is the point about our political stewardship. Because Barbados as a whole is the most important thing for our attention and our interest, but after that, the people who elected us. Plain and simple. So I could have been speaking to you from any part of Barbados because every single part of Barbados is in a state of decay and destruction simply because we have had a government that have not had a clue in the last 10 years. Now, you know, one country can be so unlucky. One country can be so unlucky. In Grenada, there was an election 2 days ago. And the people of Grenada were so pleased with the functioning of that prime minister and his party that they not only elected them again, they gave him every single seat in Grenada. The poster said that there was a swing towards a government. Now, do the people of Barbados feel that way? Well, you feel that the Barbados Labour Party should get all 30. But I'm really asking a different question. I'm asking you if anybody in Barbados has so much confidence and satisfaction in the Dems that they are prepared to re-elect them to office. I do not believe that they do. But in a neighboring country, the economies in Grenada, in St. Lucia, in St. Vincent, all of those economies are prospering. All of those economies are growing. Barbados is the sinking ship. In all of those countries, the governments are being re-elected with a tremendous vote of confidence from their people. And I can't find a single Barbadian who has any confidence in the Dems. Now, that speaks to the level of demoralization that the Democratic Labour Party has inflicted on Barbados. But it didn't happen overnight. It happened year after year after year for 10 whole years. So it isn't only St. John that has to look to the future. It is the whole of Barbados that you all applaud the bus. This is the first one I had in how many hours? I'm not going to get distracted. In the same way that the people of St. John need to look to the future, the people of Barbados also need to look to the future. We can spend a lot of time on the wrongs of the Dems over the last 10 years. But I want to tell you that I want you to focus your eyes ahead. Don't look at your feet. Do not look behind you. Focus your eyes ahead, and you will see a team of people wearing red. A team of people who are red and who are ready. Mia Motley has distinguished herself as being one of the finest minds anywhere in the Caribbean. Plain and simple. She has an ability to communicate with the highest and the lowest. She reaches out her hand to lift you up, and she reaches out her hand so that you may lift her up. There's a difference between leadership and being in charge. Frandel Stewart is in charge, just like Chris Sinclair is in charge of the economy. There's a difference between leadership and being in charge. And I am a part of a political institution with a tremendous history, but that understands that leadership is about how you gather your people around you. And Mia has been doing an amazing job in gathering her people around her. Plain and simple. And I want to say to you that the confidence that you once put in the Barbados Labour Party, the time has come for you to restore that confidence to us again. As impossible as you might think things are, the Barbados Labour Party can turn things around. In 1994, things seemed impossible then. As I canvassed Democratic Labour Party supporters, they're telling me, man, when I got a rough time then when I win. I say, well, thank you for knowing that we are going to win, but I want you to know that we have been there before. And we've done it before. And you are able to put that confidence in a team of Barbados Labour Party people whose promise to you is that from day one we will go to work, pull up our sleeves, and deal with the business of making Barbados better. We know what it is like to have been great, and it will take us some time to get back there. But from day one, every single one of us, every single member of Team Red and Team Ready will be focused on a single thing, making Barbados better. Now, Charles is a valuable member of this team. Charles has been told that winning St. John is impossible. But I have told Charles, Charles, every day you can do one impossible thing. Every day of your life you can do one impossible thing. And on election day, somebody is going to be whispering to you, Charles, what you are about to do is impossible. But I want to say to Charles that I plan on coming across Wilson Hill and making my way to the St. John counting station and standing alongside Charles Griffith when he is declared the winner of the constituency of St. John for the Barbados Labour Party. It may seem impossible to the Dems, but you know what? everything is impossible for the Dems. It has been impossible for them to rescue our economy. It has been impossible for them to give our young men and women dreams. It has been impossible for them to restore Barbados the pride of place. The only thing that they've been successful in doing is taking us lower and lower and lower. I remember a few years ago, Frondell Stewart went to his annual conference, and you remember they had a song, Gadong, 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 Gadong. And Frondell went on stage, and Frondell said that the Barbados Labour Party, that was our mission statement. Gadong, 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 gadong. But what Frondell Stewart forgot to tell the people is that he is the leader of the band. And the members of the band are the members of the Democratic Labour Party cabinet. And gadong, gadong, gadong represents everything that they have done to our country. But we are going up, we are looking to the future, and we are going to leave the Dems down there. Good night. God bless you.